Hi, hello friends, welcome again, and we are nearing the completion of this lesson about money and credit. Today we shall see about another group which is able to help the poor people to give loan and help them to come up economically in their life. That is called self-help groups. Self-help groups to help the poor. You can take page number 50, 50. So you can see there is a picture. What is he doing? There's a poor man sitting and repairing the mat or making mat or bed mattress. So he is speaking something. Do you think a bank will give me a loan? So this is a poor man, and if he wants get loan and if he is going to the bank to take loan, what will the bank ask? Give me the security. What security poor fellow will give? He is having only a small house and he has no land, no property, nothing. So bank will say, no, you don't have the collateral security, therefore we cannot give you loan, go. So that is the problem that is facing in our country. So let us see what is the role that self-help group can play. So in the previous section we have seen that poor households are still dependent on informal credit sources. Why is it so? Banks are not present everywhere in rural India. Even when they are present, getting a loan from a bank is much more difficult than taking a loan from an informal sources. So we saw almost 85% of the poor people in the rural area, they are going to the private money lenders or informal sources for loan. Why? What is the reason? The first reason is that in the rural area there is no bank. The rural area, no bank. And even if there is a bank, what is the problem? Taking a loan is not easy. It is not easy to take loan from a bank. As I said in the last class, a lot of formalities are there. Form fill up is there. And submitting the documents are there. So a lot of problems are there. So when the poor people go to the bank, the officers will question them left and right and ask them that and demand this one. And so the poor people get frightened because they are not educated, they don't know what are the things to be done and so on. So they think better go to the informal or money lender and take money from him. That is much better, more easy, because the banks are harassing them. There is nobody to help the people and so in the bank. That is the problem. That's why most of the majority people, most of the poor people, majority of them, 85% of them are going to informal sector. And as we saw, for Megha, bank loans require proper documents and collateral. So we saw the example of Megha. If she goes to the bank for taking house loan, she went to the bank and she had to submit the documents of her salary details, how much salary she is getting, all that. Then she has to submit the documents of the new house she is going to purchase. That also bank will keep. So a lot of procedures are there. Absence of collateral is one of the major reasons which prevents the poor from getting bank loans. So most of these poor people, they have no collateral, they have no documents to submit, they are just poor remaining in the village. And so they are unable to provide the certificates or the documents in the bank. Therefore, the bank is refusing to give them the loan. And informal lenders such as money lenders on the other hand know the borrowers personally and hence are often willing to give a loan without a collateral. But if they go to a money lender in their own village, they know personally this person who is staying in the village. I know his spouse, I know his parents, I know his relatives, I know everything, all his situation. Therefore, the money lender will not ask, give me that document, give me this document and so on. He will simply give the money to him and afterwards he will try to get it back with a high rates of interest and so on. So the borrower can, if necessary, approach the money lenders even without repaying the earlier loans. And however, the money lenders charge very high rates of interest, keep no records of the transactions, and harass the poor borrowers. So, in the informal sector, if I have taken one loan and I have not yet paid back and my hand there is no more money, so I go and ask him again, please give me one more loan. So the money lender will be willing to give. Of course, he is not giving out of charity. He knows that I will go on collecting from him, high rate. He will go on collecting money from me with a high interest rate. So that problem is there, and they have to pay back a very high interest. The poor farmers will have to pay very high interest rate. But it is very easy to get loan. That is one advantage. There is no need of submitting documents, no need of filling a form, nothing. But once a loan is taken from him, he is in a trap. He has to pay back very high interest rate, and very often he is not able to pay back because he is very poor farmer and he does not have all the required documents and so on. Therefore, he will be still struggling, and he may harass. The money lender will harass him, threaten him, beat him. Why are you not giving back the money? All that he will be threatening him, and so that kind of problems are also there. Then, in recent years, people have tried out some newer ways of providing loans to the poor. The idea is to organize rural poor, in particular women, into small self-help groups and pool their savings. So, in recent years, a new development has taken place, that is the self-help group. So, what is self-help group? It is a newer way of providing loans to the poor. So, it is a new method, a new way of providing loan to the poor people. The idea is to organize rural poor. So, this self-help group is in the rural area, in the village area. They will gather the people and form a group that is called self-help group. So, self-help groups, they themselves will be helping. They are not going to be helped by other people, outsiders, but they themselves will self-help group. So, what do they do? And pool their savings. So, all the members can, it is something like cooperatives. We studied in the last class about cooperatives. So, these poor farmers, they may have small savings, maybe 100 rupees, 200 rupees. So, they can deposit in this self-help group. They can save their money there. And a typical self-help group has 15 to 20 members and usually belonging to one neighborhood who meet and save regularly. So, usually it is not a very big group. It is maybe 15 members or 20 members maybe there, and they are all from the same area, same locality, and from time to time they will come together, have meetings, and they will submit their savings, and so 100 rupees or 50 rupees or 200 rupees or whatever they have saved, they will submit to the group and it will be deposited there. Then saving per member varies from rupees 25 to rupees 100 or more. So even 25 rupees if their saving is, they can deposit that. So there is no fixed amount. They can, whatever they have saved, whatever extra money that they have, they can deposit there. Depending on the ability of the poor to save, they can deposit any amount of money. Then members can take small loans from the group itself to meet their needs. So when they have extra money, they deposit in this group, and when they need money, they can take from there, they can borrow from there. So that is how they function. When they have, they put inside, and when they don't have, they take back. Then members can take small loans from the group itself to meet their needs. The group charges interest on these loans, but this is still less than what the money lender charges. So when they take money from this, when they take loan from this group, they have to pay a little interest. When they give back, they have to pay a small interest. But it is much less than the money lenders. Money lenders will charge 60% and more, and these people, this self-help group may be charging maybe just 10% or something. So it is much less than what the money lenders are charging. And after a year or two, if the group is regular in savings, it becomes eligible for availing loan from the bank. So if they are able to save continuously after 1 year or 2 years, if they are able to save such quite a good amount, then they can show that one in the bank and take a loan from the bank. They can show this one as a security or as a collateral, then take loan from the bank, a bigger amount. Loan is sanctioned in the name of the group and is meant to create self-employment opportunities for the members. So this loan that is taken from the bank, what will the members do? That will be used for creating self-employment. They may start a shop, or they may start a tea shop, or maybe a pan shop, or they may start making some eatable things and selling it, supply. Or maybe they may buy a cow and start milking the cow and sell the milk to neighboring houses and so whatever small business they can do, they can make use this money and develop their economical situation. And for instance, small loans are provided to members for releasing mortgage land. Some people keep their land as a collateral to take loan from others. So that is called mortgage. So unless you give back the loan, they cannot take back their land. So they take this loan from the bank and repay their old loan and take back their land so that they can continue to cultivate. That is called mortgage land releasing. Then for meeting working capital needs, suppose some people are going to begin their cultivation, they need to buy in the beginning something, they need to buy seeds, pesticides, fertilizers, all that. For that they can make use this money. Or they want to buy bamboos or cloth and so on to make house and so on. Then for housing materials, if they want to buy some housing material, maybe chair or maybe pot and so on. Then for acquiring assets like sewing machine, handlooms, cattle, etc. So some women maybe they want to stitch clothes, so they want to buy a new stitching machine, and for that they can use. So all these are for starting small businesses, not very big large scale business. So the loan may be 5,000, 10,000 and so on in order to buy this machine and help themselves. If they buy a machine for stitching, then they can stitch the clothes of the people who are nearby, they can get some profit. That way their family will grow. Then most of the important decisions regarding the savings and loan activities are taken by the group members. So what are the group members doing? The important decisions with regard to who will take loan and to whom the loan is to be taken, everything is decided by the members of the self-help group, not somebody from outside, not the rich people or influential people are telling them do this way or give loan to that fellow, this fellow and so on. So all decided by the group members. The group decides as regards the loans to be granted, the purpose, the amount, the interest to be charged, the repayment schedule, etc. So they will have a meeting and they will decide to whom the loan should be given and what is the purpose, why he wants to take loan and how much amount is to be given and what interest he will pay and when is the repayment, what time he will repay the loan. All these will be discussed in the group, and the group members will decide according to the condition of that person. So if that person is very poor, they may give him more time to repay. If he is somewhat well-to-do, then he may get less time to repay. So according to, because they are all from that locality, they know each other, the condition of each person, how good he is, how sincere he is, how rich he is, or how poor he is. Everything they know each other, therefore there is no cheating is possible. They know very well each other. So according to the condition of that person, they will decide what is the loan to be given and what interest he will pay. And so if he is a very poor person, they may charge very little interest, or he may even give without interest. That is all the group members will decide. Then also, it is the group which is responsible for the repayment of the loan. So if that person taking the loan is not able to repay or not bothering to repay even after the time, then it is a group's responsible. Group has to go and meet that person and asking why he is not repaying the loan. What is his problem? Is he suffering from any financial problem, or is he struggling to survive in his business and so on? So it is their duty. Any case of non-repayment of loan by any one member is followed up by seriously by other members in the group. Because of this feature, banks are willing to lend to the poor women when organizing SHGs, even though they have no collateral as such. So if a person is taking loan and not able to repay back in time, then other members will take responsibility. Other members will pressurize that person. Why are you not repaying the money? And so they will take interest to make that person to repay back the loan. Therefore, because of this responsibility of the group, the banks are also willing to pay or give loan to those people belonging to self-help group. So they are taking loan in the name of this group, and because of the activity of this group, responsibility of this group, banks are willing to give loan to these members of this group. Thus, self-help groups help borrowers overcome the problem of lack of collateral. So, people who are in this self-help group, if they want to take loan from the bank, they don't need any collateral, they don't need any security. Just say I belong to this self-help group and they'll be able to take loan. So, poor people are able to receive loan because of the benefit that they belong to self-help group. Then they can get timely loans for a variety of purposes and at a reasonable interest rate. So the interest rate will be less when they take from the bank. Moreover, self-help groups are the building blocks of organization of rural power. So if these self-help groups are able to take loan regularly and use that money to make something, to start small business, and the people will be able to get upliftment, at least in the field of economy. They will be able to develop their economy and they will be able to become rich slowly. And not only does it help women to become financially self-reliant, the regular meetings of the group provide a platform to discuss and act on the variety of social issues such as health, nutrition, domestic violence, etc. So we see most of the members of the self-help group are women. You can see the women sitting and having a meeting here. They are sitting around. There is no office, there is no table and chair. Everybody is just sitting on the floor and they are having the meeting. And so when they come together, what are the advantages? The women become the leader. Very often in the society, women are considered as very weak and they are not able to make decision, and so always men will say and the women will obey. That is the condition in our society. But here, when they continually work in the self-help group, the women get confidence. They become like leaders and they are able to make decisions. They are able to plan out, what will I do with this money? I take loan and what will I do? How will I increase this money? How will I become rich? How will I look after my family? So they have so many plans, so many visions, and that will make them leaders. And also when they come together like this, have a meeting, they discuss about different social issues. Maybe some of the members are getting sick and they have no hospital nearby. So they think about the need for hospital. Or maybe there are lack of nutrition. Some people may be becoming weaker and weaker because there is no good food available, or maybe because there is domestic violence. There may be husband and wife fighting each other in some houses, or maybe children are going astray, or maybe children are falling into bad habits, drug addicts and so on. So this kind of social issues are also discussed in this self-help group, and they try to take precaution so that this kind of bad behavior does not go on much. They are controlled and they can take precaution so that all these bad elements can be removed. if there is domestic violence at home, then they can go and discuss with their family members and find out what is their problem, why are they fighting, and they can help them to solve their problem and bring peace in that area. So when there is peace and harmony, then slowly that area also will develop. And so that is how the self-help group will help the people to achieve freedom, self-reliant and so on. Now let's see about a bank in Bangladesh. It is called Grameen Bank. So let's see how they are helping the poor people to get loan and develop their business and so on. So Grameen Bank of Bangladesh is one of the biggest success stories in reaching the poor to meet their credit needs at reasonable rates. So this bank, it has helped the poor people in the rural area to get loan for a very low interest and become successful business people. Started in 1970 as a small project, Grameen Bank now has over 6 million borrowers in about 40,000 villages spread across Bangladesh. So it was started in 1970 and it was starting with a small project, small institution. But now it has become very big and it has got 40,000, 6 million borrowers. How many people have taken loan from this Grameen Bank? 6 million. Can you imagine? So many people have come and taken loan from this bank. That means this bank is available to the poor people, and most of these 6 million people may be from the rural area, poor farmers, and they have branches in 40,000 villages. So how many Grameen banks are there? So they are established banks in 40,000 villages. That means there will be 40,000 banks will be there in the villages, and from all together 6 million people are taking loan from them. Almost all the borrowers are women and belong to poorest sections of the society. So majority of the people who are taken loan from this Grameen Bank, they are women and they are belonging to the poor sections of the society. These borrowers have proved that not only are poor women reliable borrowers, but that they can start and run a variety of small income generating activities successfully. So bank is going on giving them loan. 6 million people have taken loan. That means they have said, they have proved that they are reliable, they are faithful. If they take a loan, they give back in time. Then they take new loan again. So they have proved that they are reliable, they can be trusted. That's why bank is giving them loan again and again. If they cheat once, then bank will not give loan to that person again. So they are sincere, they are reliable in returning the loan. Therefore, the bank is happy to help them again. And let us see, something is written there. If credit can be made available to the poor people on terms and conditions that are appropriate and reasonable, these millions of small people with their millions of small pursuits can add up to create the biggest development wonder. So that is the person who started this Grameen Bank. That is his statement, that is his vision. So he says, if millions of poor people are there in this country, and if you are able to make the loan available to these people, to help them to do some small business, to do some, maybe to run a small dukan, and so small business they can do, and they can get money, and we will be helping these people to help and to develop and become rich in day by day. That is the vision of that man, and that because of that vision, the bank has spread to 40,000 villages and 6 million people are getting benefit from this bank. We can surely say these people's financial condition has improved a lot. Now we have come to the end of this lesson. We can just say the conclusion. So summing up, so in this chapter we have looked at the modern forms of money and how they are linked with the banking system. On one side are the depositors who keep their money in the banks, and on the other side are the borrowers who take loan from these banks. And economic activities require loans or credit. Credit, as we saw, can have a positive impact. or in certain situations make the borrowers worse off. So we said the banks, they receive deposit from the people, then they give to somebody else it as a loan. So both group get interest. If I deposit money in the bank, bank will give me some interest. And if bank is giving loan to another person, that person will give some interest to the bank. So that is how the rotation, money is going on in rotation. Bank is just sitting in the middle. So that is how it is going on. So if you take credit from informal sources, then the interest rate will be very high, and one who is taking the loan, he will suffer. He has to sell all his profits, all his property in order to give back the loan, and that person's situation will be very bad. Then credit is available from a variety of sources. There can be either formal sources or informal sources. So we said formal sources, which are banks and cooperatives and self-help groups, all that. Then informal sources are money lenders, friends, family, all that. If you borrow from your own brother, if he is charging you interest, then that is informal sources. The terms of credit vary substantially between formal and informal lenders. And at present, it is the richer households who receive credit from formal sources, whereas the poor have to depend on the informal sources. So we realize that the poor people have no access to the bank because of its difficulty, because of the demand for collateral and so on. But the rich people are able to submit all these documents, therefore they go to the bank and get a lot of loan. But the poor people continue to depend on the private sources or informal sources, and they suffer by paying high interest rates. Then it is essential that the total formal sector credit increases so that the dependence on the more expensive informal credit becomes less. Also, the poor should get much greater share of formal loans from banks, cooperatives, societies, etc. Both these steps are important for development. So if a country has to develop, then what we have to do? We have to make sure that the formal sector credit increases so that the dependence on the more expensive informal credit becomes less. So banks and other things, other cooperatives, the formal sectors, they should come forward to offer more loan to the poor people. They should make the procedure very proper or less complicated. So with this simple procedure and not demanding for high quality collateral and so, then the poor people also will be able to receive loans from the banks, and they will be able to save some money at the end of the year and after the harvest and so. So the government has to take initiative, government or the RBI has to give proper direction to the bank to increase the number of loans to the poor people, so not only to the rich people but to the poor people as well, so that they also will be able to come up in life, they also will be able to have some saving and so on. So that is how we learn about different sources of credit and taking loan, different sources and so on. I hope you have understood. So read these lessons nicely and try to get more knowledge and make your ideas very clear. Learn that different terms, and there are some questions are given in between the lessons also. Try to answer that question by yourself, and if you have any doubt, you are always welcome to ask me, and I will be able to satisfy you by explaining your doubts. Okay, now let's see the few examples that are given, exercises. See question number 12, fill in the blanks. Majority of the credit needs of a dash households are met from informal sources. What is the answer? Answer is poor household, poor. Then second one, dash cost of borrowing increase the debt burden. Dash cost, high cost of borrowing, high cost. Then number 3, dash issues currency notes on behalf of the central government. Who is issuing the currency notes in India? It is the RBI. Then banks charge a higher interest rate of loans than what they offer on deposits. So the interest on the loan is higher than the interest on the deposit. So when I deposit money in the bank, I get maybe 3% interest. But when I take loan from the bank, I have to pay at least 5% or 6% interest. Then number 5, dash is an asset that the borrower owns and uses as a guarantee until the loan is repaid to the lender. So what is that guarantee is called? Collateral. Collateral is the guarantee that is submitted in the bank when we take loan. So these are some of them. Then number 13, choose the most appropriate answer. In self-help group, most of the decisions regarding savings and loan activities are taken by, what is the answer? By members, number B. Then formal source of credit does not include employers, number C, does not include employers. So we come to the end of this lesson. So as I said, read nicely, try to understand nicely, and you are always welcome to ask doubts. Okay, so thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.